But we're going to see what happens in picks and bans. Azir, Kalista still off the table. We are on 5-13. Those nerfs to Kalista have not seemed to make her less popular than before. Still seeing her plenty.
I mean, so much about Kalista remains true. Being able to pull your support out, ridiculous objective control, slightly less scaling, but people weren't necessarily taking Kalista to 6 items anyway, so even if it does change, it'll take a while before that happens. Main thing I want to point out is the smart Nidalee ban by Team Dignitas. I feel like that's been one of Move's most successful champions, but it does obviously leave through Shen, which will most likely be going to Bunny Field.
That's true, and Bunny's been an absolutely great Shen support here. I actually want to know if Move can play more carry-style junglers with his Sightstone rushes. Devour junglers typically wanted to farm a whole lot, and if you're running around warding, that might delay your Devourer spikes, so we'll see if there's any other carry junglers he wants to play here. Meanwhile, Dignitas able to grab up a couple of great AD carries. Corki seems next in line behind Kalista and Saber, so that got grabbed. Helios going to be just fine on Rek'Sai.
Yeah, some nice quick lock-ins there by Team Dignitas as well, showing some confidence on the side right there. I mean, Corki's been a priority AD carry pick kind of across the globe in the last few weeks. Some hypothesis for that, obviously. Corki's always been pretty strong in the laning phase, but games have been trending downwards in game time, so we're seeing some more mid-game power spike-focused teams, and Corki is huge for that.
I think the real reason, Chad, is that Worlds is coming, and Worlds wouldn't be complete without Corki being popular, so I think it's just something in the air. When summer and fall comes around, Corki just, everyone wants to play him again. It's
the one true reason.
The one true reason. Worlds is coming. Corki must be played. But next in line, we're going to see the same matchup yet again. Tristana here seems to be a great laner. Braum also to join in. And
block some of the poke that would be coming out from Corki. Braum coming in as an anti-poke in a lot of different team compositions now. It also means that we're going to be seeing Shen in the top lane, so no more Buddy Fufu support Shen. The Trist as well is a lock-in that has been seeing more popularity lately. I had prophesized previously that Tristana didn't really have many areas of strength, wasn't winning the lane, but if you could get a lane swap and kill the turret, she's good at being a demolitionist. And it really feels like those small windows of power are what people are trying to take advantage of when they pick Trist.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are sitting on 5-13, so the Runeglaive had those small changes. Doesn't apply Ludens or Rylays anymore, like an Ezreal queue, but it feels like we're still seeing a lot of AP Ezreal. And you talk about Trist, I want to talk about Braum. I feel like he's both good and against AP Ezreal. If you consider that champion very popular, Braum rises in stock. And maybe it's a setup here. Even
just last night, Mad Life played Braum against an AP Ezreal and was just consistently blocking the Ezreal ultimate again and again. Very effective.
Incredibly effective at that. Jinx is another one you can helpfully block. But yeah, anything with a pass-through nuke just tends to get really wrecked by the Braum shield, but we're not going to see it on the Gravity lineup. It's going to be a bunch of dive, actually looking much more like the old Gravity from last split. Whole bunch of damage out in front. We've got Vi picked up here, and it's going to be, I guess, mid-rumble then for Keen.
And the real question will be, do we see Sightstone Vi from Move, or will he break his streak of building a Sightstone in every single game? This also creates an interesting matchup for Shifter in the mid lane. Keen loves to throw people off by bringing different things into the mid lane. He's brought Rumble into the mid lane, I believe, once this split already, and it was one of their defeats. It was against CLG in week 3. So Shifter, he's going to want to keep his distance and just try and farm out. We'll see what he does.
Well, looks like keeping his distance could happen just fine with Ahri, and Rumble being a little bit low mobility means getting picked on by Rek'Sai. Ahri is definitely a possibility here.
To the ecology.
He's just like, click all the A champions, go down the letters. Got Brand for a second. I don't think that's going to be very likely here, and we are going to see the Ahri mid in from Shifter. This was a champion we haven't seen him on a lot in the recent past, but one of his higher impact champions that we used to see back in 2014. I still remember his famous win over TSM back when he was on Coast.
It's true.
When he was hard carrying on the late game Lich Bane Ahri. But either way, it's going to be a high mobility assassin mid.
And we got to see Incarnation play this in our first game of the day. He was 9-0 on Ahri. Ahri is one of the champions who can see a comeback on this patch, most likely with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. It applies to 40% slow on most of Ahri's abilities. So this will be a very interesting matchup to see if Shifter can break through the somewhat bruisery AP mid. Not as many squishies on this Gravity team as we saw when Incarnation played Ahri in the first game of the day against his opponents. As always, an interesting draft phase when you have Gravity in the picture. And now we get to see Shifter on Assassin.
We get to see Shifter on an Assassin. I'm a really big fan of that one. We'll see if he can break himself out of his normal habits of just playing very passively in lane and not making many waves. He used to be a much more aggressive player. We'll see if that happens here. Both coaches Brogushard told me he wanted to do a funny handshake with Kopp, and Kopp didn't want to.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, apparently Brogushard wanted to be a memer, and Kopp was like, I'm going to police that. We're going to shut this one down. No memes allowed in the Rift to me.
I thought Broken said he was done with memes.
No. Let's be real. That's never
that.
going to be the case. Brogushard is never done with memes. But while the teams load onto the Rift, share your thoughts and share your game spoilers with us. Tweet at LWL Esports. Let us know whether it's going to be hashtag GVWin or hashtag DIGWin to take this game down. I'll be the picks to your Lulu heart. I love that. Thank you guys so much. We're here into the game. Gravity versus Team Dignitas.
I'll be the picks to your Lulu, so you're always near until she throws you onto someone else.
But then you come back.
Eventually.
I mean, 6 seconds is not exactly a long time.
Yeah, all right.
Welcome
Sure.
to Summoner's Rift.
Do you remember the, it's not a useful reference. It's too much of a stretch. Gravity looking to set up a brief death brush early on in the game. See if they can track any of these level 1s, and I don't think it's going to be a risk for really anyone here. All right, and they go to the jungle. Okay, so Keen tracks Shifter, and the resulting 4v4 Gravity push in and will not kill that Trinket Ward.
And Gravity has had some
30 seconds
incredibly
until
clever
minions
level
spawn.
1s in a lot of their games. Great jungle starts, oftentimes just letting move start out ahead of the enemy jungler. This time, they're pretty standard lane swap type wards where they just brute force invade to get the deep wards. I wonder if Gravity's going to put their own spin on this, or if they're just going to do a normal double jungle type thing where they split sides with their strong side of lane.
It just depends on the lane assignments, and right now, with not a lot of wards spotting where Gravity's standing, anyone could recall, anyone could walk back. Dignitas will see the bottom lane assignments if people do recall and head down, but those wards will not see anything. Gravity ping out, they know where the one defensive ward is in that brush by the Raptors. Dignitas will be setting up a freeze for their bottom lane and letting their top laner and jungler just carry on through their strong side of the map.
Yeah. Because currently Gravity's not setting anyone into that lane to freeze it intentionally. They're just letting the wave meet. And they take the small Krug, then go.
Well,
So it's
yeah, I'm not...
slightly different for sure.
You know, honestly, as of about a month and a half ago, about a month I think, we'd been seeing the level 1s change, or the lane swap games change, to where you knock down the turret on the second or third wave with everyone but your jungler. And in those cases, you don't need to freeze because you're trying to push the wave out anyway. And I wonder if it's going to be the same move for Gravity, and it allows you more freedom in your level 1s because you don't need to be there.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Gravity's now going to go over and take the other Krug. So they'll still just kind of do a 4v0 is the look. It provides a playmaking opportunity for Team Dignitas right now. They basically either get to do a free gank mid or take the bottom turret to match. But because all four were pretty much shown, Keen
gonna run left, and the charm's gonna land. Shifter level 2, the flay in there as well. That's easily first blood. I'm not sure why he flashed, but oh, hold on. He makes Kiwi Kid flash away.
Well, Kiwi Kid didn't want to take the kill.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
2 flashes then. Because Keen flashed away, I can't hit on that one too much. Top lane turret still taking damage. Move wants his blue buff, but Helio says hello. He's got smite, doesn't want to try to steal.
Yeah, I mean, he also technically knows that there's no one there to support. Maybe a teleport could have came in from Hanser to stop, so just some subdued aggression there by Helios. I like the Team Dignitas play, and I kind of dislike Keen for being pushed up that far when he should have understood the situation of how many people Gravity have shown on the top side of the map, how he is a melee mid laner, and how he needs to respect the roam in this lane swap situation. It's a very common play to roam your jungler support mid lane while your AD carry is taking the bottom lane turret. Team Dignitas pulls it off, gets first blood, and it cost them a flash on the mid laner, but that's a great start for Shifter anyway.
Yeah, they equalized the turret kill. I mean, honestly, only good things to say about how Dignitas have played their early game here. As we crest 4 minutes in, life is nice. Another question is, where do people assign their lanes? We typically expect top laners top lane, AD carry supports bottom lane. Dragon would be an objective at some point. Looks like that is the situation. But the displacement here is there is no defensive turret up for Gamsu. So if Hanser overpushes, then he's overextended. But if the lane stays frozen up there, then Gamsu has no turret to fall back to.
Yeah. And Altec has done this a couple of times as well. Avarice Blade start. This time he actually runs into Haunser's lane, so I'm really curious where Haunser is going to find his farm right now, especially if CoreJJ is able to freeze that bottom lane. This level 2 Shen is very quickly, maybe Bunny Fufu should have played top lane this game, because he may become a support Shen if he's unable to find farm.
That's true. Helios, though, back into the mid lane, but without Flash, is not going to find this gank here, and feels safe. Good hook on a move, but nothing really gained there off the top Scuttle Crab being killed. It is worth noting Altec has not learned Explosive Charge yet, so he's really trying to keep this lane somewhat frozen. He knocked down that initial outer turret without taking charge, and he's just...
That's all he will ever do with Avarice Blade.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
There's no way he wants to walk up to Corki, especially as Corki's building towards that Trinity Force. The power spike is so different at this point that Altec is just saying when he finishes Infinity Edge and Static Shift, then maybe he'll fight. He basically would want to freeze until then.
Yeah, and that's just going to be the case here. Problem is, though, of course, Corki doing the exact same thing and freezing, and unless one of these guys outscales, and I don't really give the edge to either one, it just kind of becomes a wash here. So then, what happens to the resulting 3v3? AD carries frozen, mid laner stuck in mid, and the Roam squad is Gravity mostly playing aggressively on that top jungle near their own AD carry. The reinforcements allow them to take away some wards, allows them to take away some of these jungle camps.
Yeah, but again, Gravity has been so stellar with their rotations and their decisions of where to move on the map that is a little surprising to see them open up this game with Keen jumping in the wrong place, and now they just rotated 4 people up to the lane that is frozen for not much good. Like, yes, they did invade the jungle, but it just opens up the jungle on the backside. That's It's a conflict-free move, and you generally don't need to support that guy.
Oh,
and it opens you up again for some exploitation in the mid lane. Nice teleport.
TP in from Shen, and literally nothing happens to anybody here. Dignitas able to walk away from under the turret. No one pulled aggro, but Keen actually charmed up, low on health and not level 6. Eclipse would have been big. The flash Q shifter is flashless and not level 6, so Kiwikin now also getting jumped on. He has no escapes either, and a trade kill comes back through. Nice one for Haunser. Gravity running away. Good kill.
Yeah, just as I say Gravity wasn't making good rotations, they make a really nice one. Shen teleporting in as the dive arrives, so no one wants to commit because they're afraid of getting taunted under the turret to that teleport Shen. And by the way, here come Move and Bunny Fufu to finish the job. And since Helios had taken so much damage from the turret, they display the proper amount of aggression in order to close in on that kill.
And I gotta say, impressive stuff by Gravity, because even though the first blood was given to Dignitas, which is about 150 bonus gold compared to a regular kill, it's Gravity who hold the gold lead via wave control, taking down farm, taking down monsters and whatnot. So Gravity, the gold that they probably shouldn't have had. Nicely done.
Yeah, this could have been a pretty clean dive, but it is hard to dive a level 5 Rumble.
Helios could have
tanky,
Lantern.
And he's a Doran Shield. Helios,
or too afraid to.
Yeah, bit of a danger right there. And then it all starts with a nice flash Q for Bunny Fufu. He ends up also getting an auto attack on Kiwi Kid, which ends up landing with the stun. That's a nice aggressive play by Bunny, knowing how much damage he was able to take and being aggressive for the kill. And there's the Sightstone before Warrior upgrade on move.
Wow. So it turns out the gold is from Avarice Blade. I just checked. It's 147 on Avarice Blade, which is like pretty much the exact gold that Gravity have made up. So there's the reasoning here. Dignitas, though, still the team playing a bit more aggressively. They went for that mid lane dive. They went for Dragon. Dragon's going to be theirs indeed. So yeah, I guess it's funny because it's just the lane swap game playing even further. The turrets died, but then the lanes got frozen again anyway. And so it's, you know, the mirror jungling where one team gets the top left, one team gets the bottom right.
Well, now things get interesting because Altec has frozen the top wave, and Haunser is in position to freeze the bottom wave. So Team Dignitas needs to make an aggressive move to unfreeze one of these waves, otherwise the gold gap will balloon. Team Dignitas did the appropriate thing when someone is freezing top lane by taking the dragon, but they've lost this freeze in the bottom lane, and they need to find a way to get farm. Otherwise, it's literally just Shifter who's going to be able to get the farm. And
that's a rough thing. We saw Team Fnatic actually do this exact thing themselves. These two freezes, and actually these two champions, not champions, but the two roles there, and they gave away two, not Fnatic, I was thinking of the wrong team, but in Challenger, it was
Renegade.
Renegades did it, thank you, there we go. Got it together. Renegades did Advanced Coast, a team that was previously undefeated coming into that game, and they froze for 12 minutes straight, gave away 2 dragons, and then just won with a gold lead from their lane farm. So the question is, how well can Gamsu do this? How well can Dignitas break these freezes?
Yeah. Well, the game now is all about Team Dignitas. They sent CoreJJ in the top lane because he is in a power spike, knowing it's just a Avarice Blade Altec up there, so he can still farm. But the problem is he's in a very vulnerable long lane. So basically, if Gravity wants to maintain this farm advantage, they need to be able to gank people when they push past their comfort zone on these lanes, and they just haven't been able to do that. Move unable to get in position before CoreJJ can shove out the lane.
Move might try soon. He's not far from 6. I don't believe he'll get it off of this Scuttle Crown, though. They're not worth a lot of experience. Gotta check to make sure, but without the ulti, it's gonna be... Oh, he does! Just barely enough experience. And that means
game on.
Probably dead.
That's exactly what Move needs to do.
Ulti, Shen ults as well. Braum Shield just because. And there you go. Hanzo gets the kill. Nice pickup right there. No real defense at all, and no wards. Kiwika did not ward for that lane whatsoever, and that means down goes Corki.
So unfortunately, the Shen ult was completely unnecessary. They wanted him farming in the bottom lane to maintain a freeze, unless they decide to make more plays with Shen, which they're kind of forced to do so now because they've abandoned that bottom wave. Either way, textbook gank there by Gravity. CoreJJ needed to cover more distance before Move could just click on him with Assault and Battery. Maybe he could have forced more summoners that way. But either way, without the wards and when he's pushed up that far, as Gravity makes that rotation, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it looked like Gamsu also kind of left the bot lane alone. He went back to the jungle to farm. So even though Shen's not the bottom lane, neither is Gnar. So as far as that kind of gold loss, it's a moot point here. And it just means Gravity now winning by a pretty sizable 1,500 gold here, 11 minutes in. Gamsu's chilling down because there just aren't any wards. Like Kiwika hasn't gotten wards to help his teammates farm in this situation.
Yeah, a distinct lack of vision by Team Dignitas, but that's also because they've been put in the spots where the wards are an absolute necessity, as Gamsu struggles to clear these, to even get his level 6 in the jungle, whereas Gravity has put themselves in situations where they don't necessarily need wards. The turrets and moves they're making are near their own turrets.
Yeah, super safe.
But Team Dignitas is having to push beyond because they haven't necessarily managed the waves nearly as well as Gravity.
And even smart by Move here to actually smite his own wolf to get that the vision there, just to make sure tricky things don't happen behind this turret that Altec is basically soloing, or was. But now the entire team switched to the bottom lane. They want to knock down some turrets. They feel like it's good enough with the BF sword and pickaxe in. This will be the second turret kill of the game. Dignitas do, to their credit, answer this. So as far as like major map moves go and objective calls, I mean, Dignitas are fine, but the micro kill sort of situations just tends to go Gravity's way.
Absolutely.
And as I say that, this happens. Good flash, good knockup, good everything. Actually, Shifter though missing the charm, but the second half of Q should be enough. Gets the kill indeed. Both that's Keen.
Yeah, very unfortunate overheat timing there by Keen as well. It would have been nice to have an equalizer due to the duration of that gank. Also to maybe flash within turret range so the Team Dignitas takes turret fire. He flashed out of turret range, which allowed Team Dignitas to fall into a safe dive zone. Nice dive by Team Dignitas, though, to make a play. They need to force moves to get these waves under control. Yeah,
and honestly, I do have to say that, you know, for the lack of wards, though, Dignitas are still doing a great job of actually finding these ganks and really pressuring these champions out. The Wolf Spirit, to the credit of Dignitas, like the Wolf Spirit saw those guys in the top jungle, and then Keen once again failed to respect the fact that there were people to his left-hand side that could wrap around his turret. So maybe some missteps here by him, but bot lane tier 2 did go down during all the craziness, so Altec knocked that down himself. Dignitas, of course, knocked down mid-outer for their gank, so we still see more or less a trade of objectives, just one that was worth more from Gravity. We're now 1 minute away from Dragons spawning up on the map, and look at the money. We can have a finished Infinity Edge or Zerkries for Altec, and Trinity Force also ordered in for CoreJJ, so both these AD carries actually pretty much online.
Altec also maxed his rapid fire, so he'll be full attack speed coming into this. It'll be a very important thing to track in this match, just Altec's ability to stay in the back line safely versus Team Dignitas' ability to kill him. Team Dignitas, in their last 6 games, has not been able to kill AD carries. Worst pace in the league. They've only killed opponent AD carries a total of 4 times in the last 6 games.
Ouch.
Or roughly 7% of their team kills have been on opponent AD carries. And it's with Team Dignitas playing fairly dive-heavy team compositions. Yeah. They really haven't been able to kill opponent AD carries, and they've been getting crushed for it. That's even more important against Gravity, a team that relies on Altec for more of their damage than any other team in the LCS, and also one of the safest AD carries as far as a death perspective. Only Piglet has died fewer times than him. and now Altec also has a good start. So that could be the decider in this game as we go for the next dragon.
We're seeing a whole lot of damage come out, though. This dive could come around. Second dragon picked up. Kiwi taking a whole bunch of pain, but the target gets switched over. Move just gets evaporated for that one. And we're going to see the chase continue as Haunter does manage to knock down Kiwi, but Gamsu, whoa! Massive Gnar ultimate right across the bow is the REQ. And this could be the exact fight Dignitas wanted. A quadra kill for Shifter. Red buff is on. Charms up. Good flash by Altec with the flash Q. Got a pentakill for Shifter.
A 14-minute pentakill for Shifter. Now all 7 of Team Dignitas' kills. What just happened right there? We said Team Dignitas needed to kill the AD carry or they'd have struggles. How about they just kill everybody else and leave Altec completely on his lonesome? That entire fight, though, I think was made by Gamsu's Gnar ultimate. I cannot wait to watch that again. It looked like he got a 4-man stun and he caught Altec mid-rocket jump.
It was just beautiful. So the dragon taken down, right? Trinity Force, Spike, AD carry. Luden's done because the Shifter's kills also getting big.
So first off, Team Dignitas forces the dragon. They knew they had to teleport in with Shen, so Team Dignitas jumps on this fight early. Equalizer doesn't actually get them that low, and then Gamsu sat on this Gnar the whole time, right at the end of his Gnar bar. I'd say a poor jump there by Altec, but just amazing timing there. Without that Gnar ultimate stunning that many people in the wall, this was a close fight that Gravity was looking to clean up. That's why Altec was rocket jumping in. And then Shifter, knowing he still has the flash, just crushing. What does he have now? He's going, looks like he's going Rylai's with those next 2 items, but he is huge right now. And if you want to kill an AD carry, a 7-kill Ahri is a pretty good start.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's pretty nice. So Dignitas, I mean, really capitalizing on the fact that they got Shifter ahead. That's 2 kills they got from in the laning phase, from Keen disrespecting the gank potential. Well executed by Dignitas. And then, yeah, having items sooner than you're supposed to in that team fight made a very large difference. So a lot of scary champions, cooldown boots. The choice for Shifter, interestingly, just kind of tracking as builds change in 5.13 with the AP item changes. He'd you know, dodge Merlin-Alicon and got cooldown somewhere else.
This is an aside. I've seen a lot of Ahris go with cooldown boots. Froggen did it in the playoffs last year in Europe for totally different set of circumstances. He actually had a 6-item build with no magic pen whatsoever, and you can kind of get away with it on Ahri just because of the true damage component on the Q. Obviously, magic pen will be more damage overall, but if you're just worried about the rotations of your spells going through and through, because of the true damage, magic penetration is slightly deprioritized on Ahri, and they're going for Ahri.
The hard dive by Shen, but move gets blown up. The Warrior Vi just not tanky enough, and another Q comes through. Gamsu gets the kill. Unfortunately for Shifter, he's got assists now, but still 100% kill participation.
This is looking like Team Dignitas from a couple of weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, when they were on that winning streak and they took down Team Liquid and who else was it in the same week? It was very impressive.
Team Solomid?
Yeah, they took down I'm ruining the point. They took down Impulse and Liquid in the exact same week. And with Shifter on this Assassin right now, Gravity is trying to make these aggressive plays with Mu, but they're just running into a powerhouse in Team Dignitas. Shifter is just getting stronger and stronger, and Gravity isn't making the clever play. That was a brute force play, and those only work when you have a lead.
Yeah, and unfortunately the lead is just not here. Warrior enchant into Sightstone. Move does not have any MR at all until he just bought the Null Magic Mantle, so a squishy Vi unable to dive the far ahead Ahri, even with the Shen shield on top of him. So the comp, I guess, would have worked, right? Shen, Vi, Rumble ulti on top. People blow up, but definitely not happening here. So great execution so far by Team Dignitas. The kills have gone out of the right places, and we now sit at, I would say, a small lull. Dragon off the field. Turret's probably a bit hard to assault, and those lane freezes we saw earlier are not mattering much anymore.
Yeah, and what specifically happened with Team Dignitas since they picked up Helios is when they get a lead in the game, they have very decisively closed out games in quick fashion. They've had trouble actually getting the leads, but in games where they are able to do that, Helios' shot calling has been so on point. Oftentimes, Shifter has fallen behind in lane. Other people are struggling. Gamsu hasn't had the hugest games. But this time, Shifter was 20 CS up at the 10-minute mark and then picked up a pentakill. So he is the one that created the lead with the rest of Team Dignitas, and now it will all be about how they close, which they have done well in their victories.
All right, Dignitas looking to close this one out in not the super near future. We're only at a 3,000 gold game, 3,000 gold lead, not the biggest, but certainly one that matters. It's been Dignitas setting the pace pretty well. Dignitas picking some very good fights for themselves. Already some very deep wards. Helios, even warding into the base before they're even ready to assault these inhibitor turrets. So, interesting choice when you only get to put 3 down at a time. Meanwhile, Gravity putting some deep wards of their own, running to track the movements in the top jungle.
Yeah. Want to check in on Shifter because he is the Super Fed member, 8.8k gold at 19 minutes 40 seconds. But he decided to go with Zhonya's instead of the Rylai's that we saw Incarnation build earlier.
I like that because he's getting Vi ulted every single time. He's the only good target.
You can Zhonya's the Vi ultimate, and then as soon as you come out of Zhonya's, you just dash around, which that's most likely the logic for this one.
And we'll see if Move can, in the future, then outplay that with his own Q, knock the dash, taunt from Hanser. Like maybe there's second-tier combos that come out, but still a risk. Gravity look for the death trap. They're not going to find it, though. Nice try. They had warded up the jungle. They pinked the tri-brush. Nothing found. Keen having to play a bit defensively, but it was going to be
so this is cute. They're expecting Team Dignitas to time the dragon, but Team Dignitas is onto this trick. I liked the attempt by Gravity. If Team Dignitas was not respecting this, wouldn't have happened, especially because Team Dignitas didn't have amazing wards in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah.
But there is that ward they just placed in the Baron pit to spot him. Yeah, that was
Kiwi Kid running over.
That was a suspicion ward. Yeah, basically because they didn't see any approach wards for Gravity in the Dragon area. A lot of times it's not about seeing a team with wards, it's about seeing where they aren't with wards. And prior to that prep, Team Dignitas did have breadcrumb wards, I like to call them, leading from Gravity's base to the Dragon Pit. And since Gravity hadn't shown up in any of those wards,
they must be topside.
Deductive reasoning, they must be near Baron. Therefore, Team Dignitas did the check.
And it was the correct thing to do, and it means that Dragon number 3 goes over cleanly to Team Dignitas here, who have kept control ever since that move. It was a nice sneak by Gravity they attempted. It didn't pay off, though. And Dignitas looking pretty solid. I mean, this is a week of teams proving themselves. Impulse, 7 wins in a row now, 6 wins in a row for them. CLG, they stopped the slump. They've won 3 in a row. Team Dignitas, what if they've stopped their slump and they had the exact same season as CLG? Looked good, looked bad, looked good again. And if Dignitas can gear it for playoffs.
And how tight would these standings become?
Oh, man.
Gravity ends up dropping this game to Team Dignitas.
Everyone between 11 and
Everyone
10
between
wins.
9 and 11 wins. No, Gravity's already sitting at 11.
Yeah,
but
so they'd be at
the
11.
top 6 teams would be within 2 games of each other with 3 to go.
Yeah.
Anything could happen in those top seeds.
Yeah, I mean, TSM, CLG, and Dignitas. Oh, yeah, TSM lost. Yeah, okay, you're right. TSM's still at 9. That was the team I was forgetting. So, okay, Shifter waiting around at a pink ward. Dignitas still trying to clear the ward vision away. Of course, Dragon gone for the next 4 minutes, so Baron the only neutral objective up right now, and they're starting to put up some wards to that effect. Double Sight Stone gonna help them, of course, move. Of course, continuing that trend as well, doing what he can for the ward vision game. Looks like top lane gonna be the attempt right here. Red buff Core JJ putting some decent damage on a Hanser. Maybe they can start working down to this turret, but Gravity already on the way to defend that. Static Shifter Stonic, great at clearing.
Move was off on his own solo mission. Got 1 deep ward down, kind of. They're mainly just hoping to get some type of flank pick, but with the way that Shifter's built that Zhonya's right now, very hard to close in on him.
Yeah.
Kiwi Kid also completed Face of the Mountain, so that's more shielding they can throw onto Shifter if a single target tries to get focused. But basically, Gravity just wants to stall this run as much as possible. Move shouldn't be trying to force things.
Oh, that hook should have hit, but it didn't quite move. Gonna be able to get away with a flash. Unfortunately, Kiwi Kid missed a hook that probably would have ended Move's life right there.
Yeah, Team Dignitas wants to maintain control, and they have a pretty nice start on the 5 Dragon Timer. In part due to the lane freeze that Altec tried to pull off early game with the Avarice Blade, it gave Team Dignitas a lot of freedom to get that Dragon counter started. And being 3 Dragons already, 23 minutes in, as well as having a lead, even if the gold may stay close, as long as Team Dignitas focuses on getting the objectives down or forcing aggressive picks. Those are kind of their 2 different win conditions right now. Gravity's win condition would be to keep the farm even and prevent the 5 Dragons somehow by any sort of delay tactics.
Well, we'll see if they can delay them, because they can't stop Dragon from respawning, so somehow getting Dignitas to not fight it would be the goal. It might be difficult, though. Altec sitting on 2 items. He's got a long way to go. Usually goes to item number 3. he goes for Last Whisper, it's going to be another 1,200 gold or so. We've got some time. Team Dignitas, though, still playing the wave clear game. No kills from them for quite some time. They've taken the Dragon without much impact, and really just Gravity with the double Sightstone, keeping the wards up enough that you can't really surprise them. So, brute forcing turrets is, of course, hard. Dignitas just keeping the wards up, sweeping away what they can. There's always the random chance that you get to sneak a Dragon, or sneak a Baron, rather, but right now not on the table for these guys.
Yeah. I would love to check. I'm going to have a lot of fun looking over the ward stats after this game because Gravity has been so dominant with their vision control, specifically just wards killed in a lot of their games, but that's with a lead. So killing wards when you're behind is also a much more difficult task. I'm curious how many Move has been able to kill when he hasn't had an advantage on the enemy jungler and also hasn't been a tanky jungler or a Nidalee to easily escape.
True. We'll see if that can make it work for him then, because in the team fights, though, he has been too squishy, right? Being the fighter frontliner hasn't been working out. Haunter, though, finally hits level 11. He's actually 2 levels down under Gamsu, though. This Shen has been a bit hindered here, only 135 CS, even though he had a big lead from the lane swap game, from the freeze afterwards. It's Gravity putting all their eggs in the Altec basket, 247 farm on him. Everyone's like walking out of the lane and saying, Altec, here, farm this, be level 13, the highest on the team.
Yeah,
Gravity's
this is
really hoping it's him.
It's very quickly turning into a one-threat team, which is something Gravity doesn't. No team really ever succeeds with a one-threat team, and only in very rare circumstances. And there's been many games this split where Keen has fallen behind, but either Haunter is on a carry.
Okay.
Go get it. Or Move is on Nidalee, who can still provide a lot of damage, so at least they have a secondary threat. But with Move falling behind and having to go full tank after Warrior, and with Keen also being behind, plus Haunter on a tank, not the greatest things.
Yeah.
Altec will have to solo carry this, and that typically doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen CLG try that, and it wasn't exactly great. So Gravity hoping that the Tristana can do it. And honestly, this is not Season 4 Tristana. She doesn't have that same solo carry status. I mean, it's still a marksman. Like, there's still obviously damage there, but the scale is not like a Jinx would have.
No longer has over 700 range at level 18.
Yep.
Rapid fire doesn't give as much attack speed for the same duration.
Yep.
You know, a lot of different things in this Tristana. We talked about Trist at the start of the game. Much more a demolitionist than a hyper carry. Really not even that amazing of a hyper carry. Transitioning a Trist versus a Corki, you actually have somewhat equatable late game power levels.
But look at this, though.
This would be the Gravity stalling the 5th Dragon. I don't understand actually why Dignitas wasn't in position for this.
It felt like bad recall timings. Okay, this might does come through. A nice knockback from Tristana. Altec trying to run. Bunny Fufu tanking up what he can, forced to flash away. But a clean escape. Oh no, the chase is in. The flash charm lands. And down he goes. The quick pickup there. But good luck because Helios is showing up as well. Down to half HP is Keen. Overheated. Ulti already popped. Dignitas at half health. Looks like they will not chase any further, but the Dragon Sneak's a big deal here. Yeah,
that is a monstrous deal. It adds 6 minutes to the point in which 5 dragons could be taken. If Team Dignitas had gotten that, you're talking a 33-minute 5th dragon. Now that could push it back to around 40 minutes into the game, most likely 39 or so. As long as Gravity can continue this stall-out phase, that is incredibly important as far as Team Dignitas' win conditions.
Yeah, and Gravity, you mentioned the one threat team here. I mean, Keen is scraping together enough farm that he's got the newly buffed Leandri's Torment on this Rumble. Like, it's not bad, honestly. Like, Rumble is quickly becoming at least a breachable threat. Yeah. Shen just squeaking together very small amounts of farm. His CS is growing very slowly, but whatever. Being a big dumb tank is okay. Move on his way over to a Randuin's Omen now, maybe a Frozen Heart, but Warden's Mail is here. I'm actually curious to why he's getting the Ward's Mill first and even got a Ninja Tabi with how magic heavy the Dignitas comp really is. I know Gnar does some, but it's Corki Ahri, the Ahri's fed. Well,
it basically feels like Move is just trying to scrape together as many defensive stats as possible. Mercury Treads would obviously give him a little bit more mobility if he gets CC'd, but he has the Spirit Visage to try and prevent himself from getting one-shot. And as far as like individual boots, how much damage can you take per value? Ninja Tabi are the best.
True.
Mercury Treads would have been better against Ahri, but maybe he's going for something a little different.
And they are having Bunny Fufu go over towards the locket here. You're seeing, or at least the Aegis, the Ruby Crystal and Null Magic Mantle are in the inventory. He's got 1,000 gold, which means he can buy it pretty much right now, and did so. Kindle Gems in, so At least the Aegis is here. Dignitas are going for a Dragon Sneak, and they are on the correct side of the map for this one, but there's still great wards that spot that this is happening. A risk for Team Dignitas. The Charm will not land. That was close. Keen could have died for that one. TP in for Gamsu gets almost nothing. Move's got to be careful. Oh, he plays the wrong way. Kiwi Kid with the misclick.
You're not Bunny Fufu. Kiwi Kid misses the flash play right there. That is just a big flash cooldown burn, because not only did Team Dignitas teleport in without creating a flank engage, which is what you would want to do if you're forcing a team into the Baron Pit during a break stall situation, but then they also burn the support flash, their second form of pick. Shifter also has no flash, so as far as getting a clean pick, they have to get a little bit lucky. Beautiful Scrying Orb by Altec.
Yep, there you go. All right, Altec does go for a Scrying Orb himself. And there are even some wards in the back of the Baron Pit anyway. Honestly, I felt like they could have just tooled them around for a bit longer, because there's still a ward to the top left that knows Dignitas isn't doing this. Like, there's no way Dignitas can sneak Baron in this way without burning a bunch of jumping tools to get over the wall and try to sneak it that way, but they're tracked here. Yeah. Bottom getting pushed, and there's no TP for Gamsu, so Hanser is not able to be equated with this.
Yeah, Move has got to be so careful.
Why are you walking into this brush? Move gets blown up. There's no one here to help him. Bunny Fufu forced to run away as well. Dignitas pull up the Baron Sneak that they couldn't have snicked in the first place.
It's exactly the type of move that Team Dignitas wanted. I'd only have to guess that Move didn't trust his ward in the far river, and he thought maybe Team Dignitas could have hugged the wall. But honestly, that's 2 kills that Gravity probably didn't have to give up. They're going to try and get turrets for it, but Team Dignitas did get Baron.
And they got Baron, they got a kill, 2 turrets picked up, but guess what? They're all about to get caught out here. A ward for Kiwi Kid watching the rotations. Team Dignitas recall 2 of their carries, and they're going to walk back across the map. Kiwi Kid a bit by himself, going to jump right onto him. He took the long road, the rest of the team took the short one. That's a really big misplay again.
You take the high road, I take the low road, and I'll die to 3 people without you? Is that how the song goes?
That's roughly how the song goes.
That was a really unfortunate play right there. He needs to either stick with his team or have backup. They knew there were 3 people there, and now Team Dignitas tries to get a rotation, but they will be 4v5 if they overstay.
Well, they don't overstay for too long, it looks like, because they're going to knock down that tier 2 turret, get their 5th of the game. The Dignitas now winning in kills, winning in objectives, tied in turrets, but winning in everything else. Looking very solid for the 6th place team, kind of up to the 1st place one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with a 14-minute and 50-second pentakill on your Ahri, I was expecting Team Dignitas to close this game a little bit smoother, or even at least be able to extend their lead significantly. The Baron is a nice step towards that, but they haven't controlled the 5 dragons, and this point coming up now may be kind of a make or break point of whether they start losing their advantage. Keen is becoming a secondary threat. Shifter still has that massive lead, but Altec is also getting more and more powerful. Team Dignitas needs to either force a fight here or create the 5 dragon timer, and they are in position to do so. Baron buff to either force Gravity in, and if they win a fight, they can win the game off of it, or if Gravity doesn't come out to fight, a 4th dragon.
Yeah, 4th dragon.
Prep is all that matters here.
And I'm going to see them try to do it. There we go. Scrying Orb used by Core JJ to make sure their warding is safe. The double Sightstone members running around and really just littering this southern jungle with wards here. It's going to be almost impossible for Gravity off of their 3 sweepers, only one of which upgraded to get rid of. Seems unlikely here. Hanser unable to really do much in the last set of fights there. Still sitting on his teleport. Gamsu still doesn't have his, but good luck outsplit pushing a team with Baron buff. 700 teleport used to show up in the mid lane. Down to half already. Hook on to Hanser. Well timed. This turret's already halfway dead.
Yeah, and with Dragon in 14 seconds, I feel like Team Dignitas will move their priority to that now. Teleport down, Shen could still arrive. A very interesting move here. I think Team Dignitas is going to want to rush the Dragon, but Gravity is going to try and pull them away from that. They're trying to just trade the objective however possible. Let's see what Team Dignitas responds with.
Oh yeah, top lane tier 2 certainly to fall, but looks like only a few members used from the bottom lane to knock this one down. It's just the Rek'Sai and the Corki, the rest ready to defend and make sure at least the inhibitor won't die, but these guys stop to clear mid away. Almost a split call here. We're seeing kind of late recalls, but Corki's already going to be there. I guess with Baron buff recalls fast anyway, so not difficult for them. Actually, the right attribution of resources is mid's shoved in, and Gravity's going to lose that farm. Yeah,
so now 39 minutes and about 25 seconds is the moment that the 5th dragon will be spawning. Still relatively early on into the game.
Yeah.
And Gravity's going to want to stall that out. The nice thing is they took down 6 turrets, so they're keeping the gold as close as possible by trading that gold to subjective dragon for an entire side of the jungle as well as a turret.
Well, we're at a 4,000 gold game. Gravity thankfully have knocked down one dragon themselves, and an unequated dragon 1 is worth about 2,500 gold in stats if you just do the math on roughly what you gain here. So
depending on the time of the
yeah, I mean, just at this point in the game, it's roughly the math here. I mean, you can do the exact numbers, but it's good enough at this stage. And Gravity is hoping to play defense. Inhibitor turrets are notoriously hard to kill. And Dignitas trying to do just that, which seems unlikely, but yeah, not any poke at all goes through. Top lane still unanswered. Gamsu has TP, but isn't going up there yet.
Very interesting the move built up Frozen Heart on Vi as well. You would expect a Randuin's in this situation just for the flat health and all the mixed and true damage the Team Dignitas is doing, but overall that will slow down the auto attacks if he can stay alive of Gnar, Rek'Sai, and
it just feels weird. Like, you're against a Black Cleaver, and Ahri is fed, and you have 200 armor at 120 magic resist.
Yes, and
not seem like the...
And not very much health. That's the big thing. Is 2,100 health.
Very low.
New look for a move on this Vi. It's also interesting that Gravity's gone for their second Scrying Orb. They're trying to prevent what happened at Baron last time. We were actually talking earlier about conditional trinkets because Altec had been going sweeper in most of their games.
Yeah.
But that is when they are ahead because they want to sweep out enemy vision to find picks. Now that they are behind, they're more worried about just getting vision of the opponent team, especially around this forced objective of Baron. Therefore, second Scrying Orb. They will not be able to get picks themselves, but it's definitely a Baron stall tank.
Yeah, and it should help them quite a bit. Dignitas, I don't think, can safely just start Baron and ignore enemy champions without getting equalized on, so definitely something that matters. Now, one thing I do want to track is Keen's road to level 16, because rank 3 equalizer is definitely a big deal.
Oh, he's so far behind.
He's 14.8, so he's got a level and a quarter still to go.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen before this Baron respawns here. Altec is 16, so the range is growing. He's already got 4 completed offensive items. Is going for a QSS or Banshee's last. Oh, wow. Bunny Fufu half HP without even landing all the skills.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Shifter at 682 ability power. Getting up to that max item, just one more. That'll happen when you have 7 kills at 14 minutes.
Yep. I wonder what his last item will be. I'm going to probably guess Ryleigh's. He didn't ever get Morellonomicon, which is typically an item we see.
I'm hoping Ryleigh's,
so
because he's got cooldown boots already.
Right.
So his CDR is already up there.
35-ish, yeah. He's actually with blue buff at 4.2, so yeah, CDR for level blues. Pretty standard for the course here.
Yeah, the next 40 seconds here will be pretty critical about how Team Dignitas decides to set this up. They need to get some deep wards in this jungle, but more importantly, you can see 3 of their 4 sweepers have been upgraded. So, and people also have room in their inventory for pink wards. So they're very heavily prepping for vision denial in this Baron. And this is a nice thing about this team comp. The Gnar can handle the Shen in a one-on-one, so Team Dignitas gets the split push advantage as well.
That's the rough thing is, you know, Hanser I can kind of more forgive the extra armor purchases because he has to deal with Gnar in the one-on-one. That's, of course, a physical damage top laner here, so we'll see if this can be salvaged here for Gravity, but Team Dignitas still sitting on this 5,000 gold lead, setting up for this Baron. The pink ward's on. There's actually, did they not see that ward at the back of the pit, or are they just not? Oh yeah, Move just put it down, they'll kill it in a second, but Dignitas trying to black out the vision here over the neutral objectives. Last time around, it got Gravity to face check and die.
But this time they have 2 Scrying Orbs. So it'll be very interesting.
Gnar holding the mid lane. Gravity could theoretically try to shove in and press for
You're just waiting for something to land, whether it be a hook or a charm. And Gravity, oh, that's going to be a Mega Gnar.
Hook hits Hanser. Mega Gnar's there. Bunny Fufu in the front lines as well. Hanser taking so much damage, and the Shen dies at the very beginning. Core JJ the first kill. Mega Gnar puts him back in the range of the team, but oh, Altec gets one, and he's now found Gamsu as well. Altec, to be the major carry, jumps in, tries to get a kill, can't quite do the damage. It's only a 1-for-1, but so much damage was dealt here.
Yeah, and we talk about secondary threats right there. That was all about Keen landing a good enough equalizer to force Shifter into an early Zonias. That meant that Move could then ult the Ahri, and the rest of Gravity could pile damage down onto him. Now they're going for a very aggressive Baron play. Maybe Altec just wants a kill.
A bad flash from Core JJ gets exploded, but into the back line comes Gamsu. He's already knocked down 1 as Bunny Fufu falls with the help from Baron. But no AD carry is a very big deal. Altec takes away the Scuttler. That actually buys even more respite.
Yeah, Dragon and Baron both coming up. 5th Dragon on the way. Keen is very low. Haunter would have teleport, but Bunny Fufu is down. They need to run to this Dragon faster than yesterday right now. It is spawned at this point, and Rek'Sai is there. How quickly can they rush this, and how quickly can Gravity collapse down? I
think Gravity guaranteed that they would win the fight if it even existed, because no AD carry of CoreJJ is a pretty big thing here. Gamsu not doing nearly enough damage with Helios. Gravity should be completely safe in taking this fight as long as they don't miss the smite here. Helios wants to be around. Here's Kiwi Kid. Here's the attempt. Good smite by Move, and they're going to catch Helios. The over-aggression. He wanted Dragon 5, but died for it. Map control to Gravity. That might even mean Baron.
Yeah, 50-second death timer on the smiter right now, and CoreJJ just spawned. I don't think it's a safe Baron, but it's definitely something that they can force and threaten. Gravity trying to take control of this game back.
It's a choice you just might make when you're down 4,000 gold, and Gravity says it is the choice we're going to make. There's no threat of a smite steal. There's only a threat of a difficult team fight here. 10,000 health Baron Nashor. CoreJJ's here. Kiwi Kid's here. The entire team is here. Blue Elixir's popped. Hook's going to land onto the tank, which is not the biggest threat here. Half HP still on Bunny Fufu, and Gravity turned back onto Baron. Half health on that. Move smite is up. Kiwi Kid Hook misses this time around. He's going to block enough damage. Baron Nashor picked up. Bunny stays alive. Dignitas not stopping it, but Gamsu's here with Mega Gnar. Haunter not going to get stunned. Going to go for the taunt instead. Equalizer's massive. Move in the front line, and there's Altec on the side. Knocks him into the team, and in comes Helios. The cavalry has arrived. Shifter does not land the damage on a Bunny Fufu, and Move will get picked up, but not before Shen gets the ulti in. Is it going to be enough? Because CoreJJ will get the kills after all. Bunny's still taking the front line, but Altec is running out of front line. He can't quite get it, and it's going to be Gravity forced away with 2 deaths.
Whoa, what a close game. This is now on a razor's edge. 2 40-second death timers for Gravity. Team Dignitas does not stop the Baron, but they do prevent a push afterwards. So just a really, I'd say, eventful last few minutes. Freak. Let's just recap where the game stands now. So Altec doing his best to do all the damage. As we can see in this fight, no one in Gravity really chunking that many people on Team Dignitas. And this is the one thing that Gravity needed to take the Baron early for, is because Helios was going to spawn and he can arrive at any moment into this fight. Good flank position by Shifter as well, and Ari, that's where he wants to be, but he probably could have maximized his damage a little bit more right there. He missed some spells, he didn't max out on just Spirit rushing into his Zonias, and it delays this fight long enough for Gravity to almost pick up a few kills. Altec on the meanwhile was just trying to cut through the tanks, but didn't have quite enough damage to get any of those guys. Just think one of those guys dies, he starts bunny hopping around, killing about 3 of them. Really, really close game now, and Gravity doing their best to come back from a very disastrous Dragon fight at the 15-minute mark.
Well, the damage from Altec as well as the damage from CoreJJ have increased now as Altec's hit close to max build with the Mercurial Scimitar now done, so plus 80 attack damage. Infinity Edge for CoreJJ means he's got some very scary auto attack damage now as well, and still an item to buy. Yeah, but with Baron on, this bottom turret. Oh, wow!
That was the Tristana damage.
Charge.
They stayed too close to the turret.
So much attack damage on that Tristana, 520. Just destroys this. Demolition is here yet again. Bottom inhibitor taken down thanks to the Baron buff.
Huge move. That is one of the big reasons. Teams like Trist, the ability to just kill turrets in the shortest window of time, not necessarily worrying as much about the safety, but having that quick turret kill. We got ourselves a Gravity team who's starting to gain control right now, honestly, because of the farm Altec has been able to put out. He's an item ahead of CoreJJ, giving him the edge. And then Keen, just because Rumble has such efficient items on this patch with Leandri's, he is somewhat matching Shifter's impact.
Oh, hold on, not matching that very well.
Oh,
kill before it can ulti. It's going to be a trade back. Those Helios does die. They stun. The knockup from Bunny means almost nothing. Gamsu is Mega Gnar ready in the top side. Haunter overextends, gets hooked in, gets chunked out, gets killed off. CoreJJ is a massive AD carry right now, and now Dignitas on the chase. The flash, the slowdown, the stun's going to land. Bunny Fufu going to be the next kill most likely. Shields himself, tries to run, can't go far enough. Oh, he's going to just barely get out, but the rocket is still coming. The kill's going to come through. Gamsu gets a 3rd kill. The fight a 3-for-1 to Dignitas.
Yeah, and a ping goes down to the inhibitor right away. Keen with a very bad play there, being far too close to the turret. You hate for it to be a story of the game, but it's like, how many times can Keen get punished before Team Dignitas wins? It's the mid lane. It happened twice. It's happening in a couple of team fights right now, and it happened right there after Gravity had regained advantage of the game. This is easily a mid lane inhibitor for Team Dignitas to match the one that Gravity pulled off in the bottom lane.
Man, and in a team with 3 tanks, a Shen, a Vi, and a Braum, what business does Keen have being on the front lines and being hook bait there? Of course,
no business.
A great skill shot by Cubican and a great follow-up by the team, but still not something that should be happening here.
He has no business there, Freak, especially in a Rumble build that does not have Zoni's hour pass. Watching this one more time, he is in the front line.
Oh, wow.
There are also Baron up minions on the turret, so it's very inexcusable of where you'd want to be as a Rumble, and it traps Gravity into a fight underneath the Nexus turret without a Rumble ultimate. You know, even if he could have gotten a Rumble ultimate off on that turret, maybe they could split that fight and just get out. Worst case scenario, with your mid lane Rumble getting hooked in and instantly killed before he can use any spells.
Now keep in mind, leading into that fight, the gold had actually stayed exactly the same. Gravity got their second dragon, congratulations, but the gold was still 4.5k. The Baron buff was timed out. Of course, Dignitas just won a fight, so now they're sitting up 6,000, but this lead hasn't really ever gotten smaller. It's just been objectives traded back and forth, Gravity playing about equal with a deficit. We'll see if that can ever grow or shrink one way or the other. Move running away from Helios here. Elixir of Iron is on, and Dragon number 5, attempt number 2 for Dignitas as it spawns.
Yeah, and max items on Shifter. He needs to have so much of an impact in this fight to take advantage of his huge lead. He's a full item or 2 ahead of the Rumble.
Oh, the spike comes in from Move, and the battle's begun. Bunny in the front line stops the REQ. A bunch of bursts come through, Equalizer towards the front line. Helios at half, looks for Altec, misses the charm though, and damage keeps coming through. Helios 1 hit from getting stunned. The stun now lands, and Altec gets some damage, forcing the flash away. Inside track on mid lane, Dignitas have to recall.
What a clutch smite right there by Move, because if he misses that, they are full 5v5 into a team that would have recently received aspect of the Dragon. So massive, massive thing right there for Move to keep Gravity in this game, because they couldn't get any kills. They just push out the wave, and we go deeper. Gonna need another water for this game.
Yeah, I already drank literally a half liter just now. We're gonna keep moving. Baron is in 46 seconds. Gravity got the last one off of a pick on Helios, and the resulting 5v4 worked out okay. Gravity now still swallowing a 6,000 gold deficit. There were no kills in that last fight, if I recall properly, so it was just a movement speed buff being acquired, and Move winning the Smite Wars so far. It's actually his... I think he's not lost a Smite War yet to Helios in this game. So, they've had about 2 or 3. Maybe a sign of things to come.
Altec is more than maxed item. He's sitting on 1,800 gold right now. He'd also sold his ship for Phantom Dancer, so he should actually be giving the farm over to Keen whenever possible. The only problem with that is Keen has to put himself in somewhat risky situations in order to farm the waves.
Very true.
Therefore, we see Altec CS grow and grow, nearly hitting 500 before the 50-minute mark. So crazy, crazy pacing on his CS.
Yeah.
And one of the big reasons it feels like Team Dignitas isn't back in this game is Shifter's being very protective of his positioning, despite being fairly tanky with his Zonias. He's not providing any threat onto Altec. The one time they've killed an AD carry this game was when they killed everyone else first. But if they really want to do this, they need to either get some type of hook onto the main damage source, Gamsu needs to get in there, or Shifter needs to force him back, because nothing is really stopping Altec from free hitting in any of these fights, which is keeping it extremely close.
You know, when you hit an item build like this with a lot of attack speed, the steroids mean a little bit less, since you just got so much baseline threat. So Tristana is still going to be very effective. Core JJ did go for the making of a Banshee's Veil last item, so a slightly lower ceiling as a champion. This is not Mercurial Scimitar.
He needs defense against the Rumble ult.
Yeah, well, that means it's attack go to the top lane. Altec, high offense here. This turret nearly going to go down. Doesn't mean E is on cooldown for a few seconds. He's saved rapid fire, though. So far, no way in for Team Dignitas. Turret goes down. Gravity able to walk away pretty safely, but it's still in contention. There's no wards watching Dignitas run through here. A bit of a risk, but not punished. Yeah,
they're split up, though. Cubican has a chance to catch a flank.
The high road, but the low road not hooked, though. Flay will land. Hauser uses his taunt to get away. A few seconds cooldown on that one. Kindled him to help that cooldown stay short. Bit more poke from Gamsu. Mid lane and him still dead. A giant wave is barreling down the mid lane that Gravity needs someone to answer.
It has to be caught. This gives Team Dignitas. It gives Team Dignitas the ability to go in and get vision control, but there's not many wards left in the wake of Gravity's rotation, but there's that Scrying Orb. They have 2 of them. Will we see a fight here? There
was a ward in the pit. Anyway, the Scrying Orb seems like almost a waste of a cooldown here, but Gravity able to hook back to the front line. Oh, close one. Kiwi Kid missing his 3rd hook in a row here, or at least dodged by Gravity. Mid lane, though, still pushing on its own. The middle inhibitor is back up, and it's getting slowly whittled down by some minions.
Yeah, with Mega Gnar right now, though, really Gravity wants to just hold out a little bit longer. They do not want Gamsu to be able to Mega Gnar them right now. As soon as they see that mini Gnar, maybe we see Gravity go, and Helios was still on the Baron.
And he's at half. Bunny Poo Poo tanks a charm, takes a bunch of damage. Shifter cannot quite find the way, and now he's going to look for it, forces the flash, and there's the equalizer. Box comes up, Hanser taunts up Gamsu. The Vi comes in as well. They will knock down Gnar. No, he walks away. Yes, the charge gets him. Mid and him is dead. The minions took that down, but the chase continues. Altek wants in. He's not going to find it. A 1-for-0, but the base is getting attacked from Gravity.
This is so tense right now. The Baron minions are providing pressure, but Gravity does not want to withstand this Baron. They know they have a death timer that they want to exploit. Maybe we see yet another Smite War, or maybe Dignitas fights before it's a possibility.
The health bars are low. Bunny Poo Poo at 800 health, now 300. Hogs from the front line move there as well. They're going to get the first kill. That's a reset in. The flash from Keen. They get Helios. One traded back, though. Core JJ still a big threat. It's a 1-for-2 in the aftermath of that one, but they've got a recall to defend their base. The turrets are taking damage. Top Nexus turret down below half.
Yeah, turrets are safe for the most part. They did lose their inhibitor, and Altek is just showing everyone how fed he is. The problem for Gravity is he is not getting any more fed this game unless he sells his boots, in which case his mobility will decrease, so the overall effectiveness is negligible. This is a game free.
Yes, it is.
51 minutes in. Dragon now up in 50 seconds, and this is a time where we have major objectives on 2 different sides of the map. 3 major objectives that Gravity now has to try and keep pace with. Their own middle inhibitor, the Baron, and the Dragon. Any of those things going to Dignitas could spell doom for them. They start off before one becomes a problem. There is low vision. Core JJ tried his best to stop it. There are still death timers on Team Dignitas.
Making his best Piglet impression. TP comes in for Hanser. The Smite got to come through and easily picked up. That goes Baron number 2 to Gravity, and they've caught Gamsu, who TP'd in the top side by himself and gets picked off for a very greedy teleport. Map's okay for Gravity. Dragon's up in 12, and Dignitas are there first.
It would be unreal if Gravity could pull this move off. With 3 things they have to defend against, they just got the Baron. There's a Shen ult up if someone else can make it to that fight first, and there's a top laner dead. How many home guard boots can they move? Altek tried to push the mid wave. He's on his way, but this time Core JJ is there to try and blow this down. Move, he's going to have to pull off a miracle. Smite again. He's in so early.
He's in early, but this is burst. He's going again! Move again! Stops the Dragon 5. He will die. Hanser did ult, but it got canceled via the death. There's a 30-second window where Gamsu's alive and Move is not, but I don't know if Dig could do much about that.
Are you kidding me right there? The second straight just 1v team Smite Steal by Move. Those things are so hard to pull off because Team Dignitas just needs to spike their skills at the same time, and Move has to predict when that will happen. But he died in that fight. They still don't have that many threats. There's giant waves barreling in, but they're the ones with Baron buff. This is potentially a miraculous defense.
Well, here's the funny thing, though, is Dragon 4 is on, meaning 15% bonus damage to minions. Gravity's wave clear just got 15% better. Difficult math, I know.
That actually matters.
It does a lot, actually.
Especially for Keen, a guy who's still trying to complete his max items. Altek did go for the second Phantom Dancer, so he is now a moving turret. He's lost a lot of move speed for selling his Alacrity Enchanted Berserker Greaves, but he will gain the damage.
Yeah.
Man.
90% crit chance. You saw minions doing 1,500 damage. That's not realistic for champions here, as they don't have armor, but it's still very large crits coming out. Definitely a scary thing here. And keep in mind, you talked about the fact that Altek wasn't going to grow anymore. When we last mentioned that, Gamsu had a full item slot till to go, and Helios had a full item slot still to go. So Helios is out of the Thornmail, Gamsu's getting a Banshees.
Core JJ also got rid of his boots. So he is doing more damage as well now, auto attack-wise, with the Phantom Dancer. So there are definitely some hyper-scaling builds coming in here. The gold is becoming only relevant to the people that have not maxed their item builds at this point, which basically means Gamsu and Haunter are even. They have one item build left to complete, but it's mainly this keen differential. His equalizers have been very on point in the teamfights Gravity's won, however, and that is providing more of an impact than the 10-kill Ahri. At this point, really just watch on where the focus is. Gravity's been killing frontline. Dignitas has been trying to do the same. This game will end if anyone gets backline access before the tank line goes down.
430 damage per second equalizers from Keen. Lasts for 5 seconds. Also applies Leandry's.
1,543 damage crits on the minions there for Altec.
Yep.
Because of the bonus he's being granted from the Dragon buff.
I mean, it is very scary here. Now, Gravity hold on to the mid lane because that's where their inhibitor was dead, and they need to make sure that stays unpushed. Team Dignitas able to easily play a defensive line right here, though, and you can see how loath Gravity are to actually start something off here.
Yeah, it's a danger. They know they don't necessarily have the strength. Their initiation is questionable move. He gets the Shen ult when he jumps in, but he can only be so tanky. He's actually going for a damage item as his 6th to go with his Ruby Sightstone.
Move also needs to trade in for Cinder Hulk sometime soon. Tank stats definitely should matter a lot for him. At this point, 10 armor pen means nothing. Oh, the hook hits Bunny Fufu, though. That's going to be the way in. And Bunny gets dropped at the very start. Can't even put out Unbreakable. Out goes Gravity. Out they run. But Gamsu pulls one back in. And goodbye, Haunter. It's a tanky Shen, but not tanky enough. Move chooses to go in, and he buys time. Altec picks up a kill. Stun comes through. Shifter comes in. Look for Altec. Does a ton of damage. And the chase down comes in. Team Dignitas. Ace Gravity.
They get the hook. They break the tank line before Team Dignitas, before Gravity can set up, and they just get that huge, huge win. Shifter then provided threat immediately on Altec. That's what he needed to do in this game. 55 minutes in after having 2 5th Dragons smote away from them, they may finally be taking down the #1 team in the LCS.
I think it's going to happen right now, chat. Such long respawn timers and plenty of durable tanks in the front line. Inhibitor into turret, into Nexus. Dignitas, I think, for sure have done it here. From 6th place, they had fallen so far. They used to be the league leaders. They used to beat the top teams. This time around, maybe Dignitas back on an upswing. They take down the #1 team in the North American LCS, and Dignitas getting in shape just in time for playoffs.
What an absurd game this was, Freak. That is a monstrous win for Team Dignitas as well. It was seeming more and more like Team Dignitas was going to be locked into that 6th seed. They had the worst record of the top 6 teams coming in and the most difficult schedule in their next 4 games to close the year. Well, they just beat the team that was #1 and 11-3, staring strength of schedule in the face and knocking it down. Now all top 6 teams are within 2 games of each other.
Yeah, how strong can your schedule look if you beat the #1 team and you're like, yeah, who's the next comer? I already knocked down the top dog. Like, yeah, who wants me now?
TSM.
TSM wants him now. TSM's gonna want him. TSM, honestly, in a sort of opposite direction of Team Dignitas, of course. Dignitas for so long had been a bit too slow. They got their wins because someone screwed up or because Gamsu hard carried. So congratulations, one of your players won off. But this was the first one where it felt like they earned it every step of the way. Lanes got frozen. Dignitas pushed in mid. They got so much gold in a shifter. Kiwi Kid landed so many hooks. It's a player who like kind of could only play Annie. You'd ban Annie and Kiwi Kid wouldn't do well. His Thresh, decent, but this game definitely amazing. So many picks landed because of these hooks, because of these charms.
Hey, Broken Shard.
Undefeated.
Nice debut onto the scene. He gets to watch this game. It was definitely crazy, Freak. The Dragons being smote away 2 times in a row. It would have felt crushing if Team Dignitas lost this one after a pentakill at 14 minutes and 48 seconds. Probably the earliest pentakill we've seen in a North American LCS game.
Yeah, I think so.
Core JJ selling his boots, doing substantial damage in those late game fights, and mainly Shifter finally getting to Altec, killing the opponent AD carry, something that Team Dignitas has not been able to do, but when they do, they take down the #1 team.